Why
What
should
are
the
Muad's
university
next
be
steps?
obligated to provide food to people who've taken over a building?
Well, first of all, we're saying that they're obligated to provide food to students who pay for a meal plan here.
But you mentioned that there was a request that food and water be brought in, unless I misunderstood.
To allow it to be brought in. I mean, well, I guess it's ultimately a question of what kind of community and obligation Columbia feels it has to its students. Do you want students to die of dehydration and starvation or get severely ill?
What about the students' obligation to university?
And if they disagree with you, if the answer is no, then you should allow basic, I mean, it's crazy to say because we're on an Ivy League campus, but this is like basic humanitarian aid we're asking for. Like, could people please have a glass of water?
But they did put themselves in
remarkable, it really is.
Very deliberately.
These so-called students have graduated from the University of TikTok and are nothing short of communists. I mean, you see it at the Palestine rallies in London. It is in an infestation of communist ideology. And it's if people have got a short-term memory, hundreds of millions of people died of starvation and famine across communist regimes. And it's ironic that this I'm going to say lady is asking for a glass of water while she is staging a protest.
Yeah, but facts don't really matter, do they?
No.
Situation and in that position. So it seems like you're sort of saying, we want to be revolutionaries, we want to take over this building, now would you please bring us food and water?
Nobody's asking them to bring anything. We're asking them to not violently stop us from bringing in basic humanitarian aid.
They're stopping the delivery of food.
We are
like
looking for a
Israel is,
commitment from
violently
them that they will not stop it violently.
Hundreds of tons of aid.
Well, I don't know to what extent it has been attempted, but we're looking for a commitment.
And the Grubhub, why should
It's brilliant.
That is the best microcosm. I couldn't have said it better myself. I've seen some people on social media identify these encampments as like it's like role playing for these kids. It really is. They are so overprivileged, and it is like role playing. They're saying that the campus, they owe us food and water, and they're violently stopping food and water entering our encampment.
Yeah,
it's just.
This is brilliant. They're screaming, "We are Hamas," as you take over a building at Columbia, and then accusing the university of starving you for not catering your hate fest is literally the most Hamas thing outside of Gaza. It's brilliant. And then I saw also this was a brilliant piece by Elika Lebon, who is Iranian activist, very brave woman. She said, "I can't believe I have to explain what's happening here, but here goes. Elite students of Ivy League schools have glamorized oppression so much that they have now reached roleplay status to satisfy their fantasies. And they're so desperate for victimhood. We live in a culture now that is so glorifying of being the victim that they themselves not just are so sympathetic towards their so-called victims, but want to take it on themselves because it's so romanticized. Here the students have appropriated the suffering of Gazans and are cosplaying as living through humanitarian crisis. In their American make-believe story where Ivy League infrastructure sets the scene, the students may play Gazans and the school administration plays Israel. Israel, the school, is blocking their basic humanitarian aid in this play, and if they don't receive it soon, they will die of thirst and starvation, appropriating exact experiences of Gazans. They also destroy upper-class buildings and claim them as liberated, while the students repeat chants in zombie-like chorus, playing the role of freedom fighters, destroying Israeli infrastructure and claiming them freed. If I'm alive in a world where people don't see the levels of perversion in this, I will give up. You don't see this in lower-tier schools from kids of lower socioeconomic standing because they aren't plagued with the guilt of privilege that they're seeking to launder through the Middle East role play of feigned suffering. This is as first world dystopia as it gets. Meanwhile, these Ivy League students, who can have much more than a glass of water and as much food as their stomach can take, are commanding the attention of the media and the entire American audience, while actual Gazans who need humanitarian aid are ignored. I still have to pinch myself that people don't see this.
No, I don't want to take away from the conflict and the argument we're making, but there's a very interesting interview by a KGB defector in 1984 called Yuri Bezmenov, and he talks about something called ideological subversion, and it is essentially a warfare technique. We think the Cold War ended in 1991, but you couldn't be more mistaken, although people seem to be lacking in history studies today anyway. ideological subversion is essentially entering a society through its own people and making facts irrelevant, which is exactly what's happened. People have got so wrapped up in their own emotions, their own so-called identities, things that really don't matter and only matter when your society is so privileged that there is no real problems. That it's created essentially a civil war without the armed conflict internally just yet. It's worrying times, and that brave Iranian activist couldn't have put it better.
Absolutely. You know, I think what summarizes the Palestinian cause the best, we've seen many things that epitomize it recently, but the thing that for me was the most symbolic was what that lecturer, or whoever she is associated with UCL, said to you, where she said, on the one hand, you're scared, aren't you? And on the other hand, you're being intimidating. That is what the whole phony Palestinian cause has tried to do. They've attacked and terrorized the people of Israel. And then the second that Israel retaliates and protects her people, they cry victim. And they say that they're just being intimidated. It was all there, wasn't it?
And that's just it. And you can see it with these protesters. That's actually what's going on with their emotions internally. 1 minute they're scared, and then they're intimidated, and at the same time it's just they can't compute what's actually going on. It's all a bubble of emotions, and they don't really know how to discern facts from fiction.
Absolutely. Well, Sam, look, thank you so much for all the brilliant work you've done, for the videos you've made. Please, in the comments, let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you think about some of the things that Sam and I have been saying. Sam, keep it up, and we'd love to have you back on to talk about more of this craziness and hopefully provide a bit of sanity to the world.
Thank you, Ollie. It's SJA00 on Instagram. Thank you, everyone.
Brilliant. Yeah, follow Sam. Hi, thank you so much for watching. To watch another one, click here. To stay up to date with all our content, click here to subscribe. And if you're able to, you can help support JTV to grow and grow by clicking join below this video, where you can become a member and get perks including early access to videos and private live discussions with me. But most of all, you'll be partnering with us on our mission to change the world.